What is going on, dudes and dudettes? Yes, there's quite a bit of stuff to mention today. Yes, quite a bit, but hopefully it will not be as long of a video as I'm anticipating. So yes, start off with a lot of USC news. So when it comes to Caleb Williams, yes, apparently he has mentioned that if he were to choose a team himself going into the NFL after this season of college, he would preferably choose a team that had a younger coach. So a lot of the headlines are saying Miami because I guess he likes the idea of being able to be the quarterback there and also have receivers like Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, even Gesicki, the tight end, staying, but also being under that young head coach Mike McDaniel. But he also did mention teams like the 49ers. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan is one of the better, brighter, younger minds out there, and he just took a third-string quarterback to the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever the heck, in the NFC Championship, whatever they call it. I'm on basketball mode now. And then, he also mentioned the Raiders, which I guess Josh McDaniels is young enough, but still hasn't been proven enough, I don't think, in the NFL. Kind of like a McDaniels in Miami, but also the Falcons, which, I don't know, maybe he chose Raiders and Falcons because it's like Atlanta, it's a pretty big market in Georgia, and also the Raiders in Vegas, pretty big market out there on the West Coast kind of as well. So maybe that's his play for those teams. But either way, it's not his choice. Yes, those teams can either try to suck really hard and get the top pick or try to trade up in there to get him. But either way, it's going to just see whoever picks him first, and they might end up having to trade him after that pick. But we'll see what happens. It could be interesting. But yeah, overall, a lot of interesting stuff happened because even PFF, those guys did a draft where they included all of college football players, so players that are still not eligible to be drafted included in this 2023 draft class as well. And of course, Caleb Williams would be selected number 1 overall in this year's draft, even if it were, Justin Fields still there with Chicago, which is pretty crazy. But overall, I still think this guy is being looked at as one of those once-in-a-lifetime generational type of Mahomesian players that, that people are trying to get as of right now. So, I don't know. It's a lot of praise. He is apparently looking a bit thicker and stronger, so I don't know if that's going to officially help him or not to be able to stay healthy. He only got hurt pretty much one time last year, so I don't know why he's as thick, but unless he thinks he needs it for the NFL, I guess that is the reason why. And when it comes to an ex-USC wide receiver, Robert Woods, yes, he was recently released by Tennessee. I guess they're freeing up some cap space and all that good stuff, so he is now a free agent. He could sign anywhere, and obviously I've been trying to get him to the Chargers for the longest time. I know I was surprised that I think it was only like a 6th or 7th round pick Tennessee gave to the Rams for him last year, which was like, come on, Chargers could give that up better than anyone else that they've had where they selected right there. But I still think he does have a chance. I know a lot of other teams like Cleveland and Chicago are looking at him as well, or thinking about him, at least their fans online. So we'll see. Good luck to him. And when it comes to a lot of the top 5-star and 4-star players out there that USC has offered recently and in the past as well, apparently they're all looking to set up visits to USC, whether it's in the next couple months or during the summer, stuff like that, before the season or even during the season as well, whether it's unofficial or official visits. And this is a pretty long list, so let's try to get it through it pretty quickly. So to start off, the 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo is definitely one of the top guys out there, definitely top 50 overall in high school. And then the 5-star defensive end Elijah Rushing, who I believe is from Arizona as well, one of the closer guys out here, so maybe USC could have some more luck getting another Arizona person. 4-star athlete Jason Mitchell II, who actually has his father recently played within, I think in the early 2000s, as a wide receiver for USC, and he's a both. He is a wide receiver or defensive back, and I think he's looking a lot better on the defensive side. So USC has some history there, so maybe they could get him a little bit easier. Even this next guy as well, 4-star CB Marcellus Williams, who is the younger brother of Max Williams, who is still on the team after the past like 3 or 4 seasons. As of right now, he's still on the team, so hopefully if he is still on the team once his brother comes in next season, it will be like, a last chance for them to play 1 year together or something like that. So maybe it could entice him to stay home with the Trojans. And then another guy, 4-star defensive end Jalen Harvey, has set up his dates, or is going to. 4-star linebacker from Texas, Ty Anthony Smith, getting a lot of looks from like Ohio State, Texas, and Alabama, so he's a pretty interesting guy. 4-star cornerback Selman Bridges, who is a very tall guy. He's like 6'2" and above, something like that, and he is slowly climbing the ranks. He is a 4-star, but he might end up being a 5-star by the end of this season, so look out for him. 4-star local product from Mission Viejo, I believe, in cornerback Dejon Lee, who is another taller corner. So I think USC is trying to get those taller, athletic guys on the outside to be able to play defense, not only out there, but then inside as well to help out. Tackling, obviously 5-star safety KJ Bolden, who's like, I think he's like top 2 or 3 overall player in next year's class. And he's definitely trying to look up to set up multiple visits to USC, so that could be cool. And then 4-star cornerback, I haven't heard this name said, so I hope I'm getting it right. Ify Obigdegwu is a pretty interesting name, but he is another talented, tall cornerback as well. 4-star defensive end Marquise Lightfoot recently said he was trying to get a visit. Also, 4-star defensive lineman DeAndre Robinson. He's from out there, I think, Florida. So another guy interested. And then also the 4-star defensive lineman Brandon Davis Swain is also interested in getting a visit to USC. So they're definitely going at some of the more talented guys out there. I know the most recent coach, there was a lot of 3-star guys, but I haven't really seen a lot of those guys setting up visits and getting offers as well. So USC is looking to be going ahead and forging and trying to get, the best talent. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how their class shapes up next season. Then when it comes to the Chargers, yes, they did end up letting Ronaldo Hill, their defensive coordinator, go to the Miami Dolphins, and he's accepting which seems like a lower role, as he's not being the defensive coordinator there. It's almost like a passing game analyst or assistant or something like that. I don't know what it is, but maybe he saw the writing on the wall, because the Chargers, all they did, instead of hiring out of somewhere, they just ended up getting their guys who are already in-house and promoting the safeties coach, Derrick Ansley, who a lot of people outside of the Chargers who maybe have been trying to get him on their team as a regular head coach have been trying to get him. So luckily the Chargers were able to just boost him up to be the main defensive coordinator, which is nice. And then also another guy, I think his name was, Tommy Donatel, who's also being looked at, I think even from Miami, also to get bumped up to this secondaries coach and a passing game assistant or specialist. So luckily the Chargers were able to keep 2 guys that are still ingrained in the defense and don't have to really change up much as well, to bring in some guy that maybe wants to change philosophies and stuff like that. But either way, still think this is a big move, and a lot of people really do like this Derrick Ansley type, this guy as well. They think he was even a really good recruiter while he was in college as well at Alabama. So definitely knows talent. So definitely looking forward to his future as a D coordinator. Then when it comes to Duke, yes, they got the Louisville Cardinal at home. Ended up getting that victory 79-62. It was pretty close throughout the first half of the game. Duke did get like around a 10-point lead close to halftime, and then were able to pull away eventually. Louisville is just one of the worst teams out there in college. They only have I think 4 wins, as I saw during those highlights. And yeah, Duke did beat them pretty easily a couple months ago or weeks ago, something like that. So either way, yeah, it just kind of sucks because Nolan Smith, who was an assistant coach while with Coach K was here the past couple years, he ended up going over there to set a little bit of a higher role with their recruiting and stuff, and being a coach as well. But it just sucks that they're doing really bad. And hopefully, I'm sure Shire, he gave him a big hug at the end of the game also, so I'm sure he'll be able to come back if he wants to also. But yeah, either way, it's a tough situation. But luckily, guys stepped up. Everybody pretty much stepped up. Nobody really kind of went above and beyond as they have been. But it was still good overall highlights to see. And then when it comes to a lot of the guys who maybe did not get into the McDonald's All-American game for high school seniors that are going to Duke next season, a lot of them have been invited to the Iverson Classic, which is like a version of that. It's like a scrimmage, it's like a McDonald's All-American where you kind of show your stuff, get your name out there. So the 4 guys from Duke that were selected were Caleb Foster, TJ Power, Sean Stewart, and Mac MG Bako. I think that's how you do it when it's like 2 letters like that. I could be wrong, but hopefully I'll be able to hear it next year when he's on campus. But yes, they were invited to that Iverson Classic. And then also after the past couple of games for Duke, Kyle Filipowski was once again named the ACC Rookie of the Week. They were 2-0 this last week, so of course he had like a 20-point game. Also one of those as well, and it's like his 8th time winning this award. So if he doesn't win the ACC Rookie of the Year, I don't know what's wrong with that conference. But overall, it looks like he's going to get it. Then John Shire recently, after that victory the other day, had 20 wins on the season, which is still pretty good. He's like 20-8. It just looks a lot weirder than normal. But yes, Duke does have a pretty good record. And he did tie like for the most wins all time for a first-year head coach, which is cool. And with a couple of regular season wins, he could get above that. They still have a couple of games left before they reach the ACC tournament as well. So that'll be pretty cool for him to have that first record under his belt. And then he recently said too that when it comes to future recruiting, he doesn't see them kind of going to where Coach K has done since like the 2010s, where he kind of just goes for the top 10 prospects overall, top 20 guys, and try to get as many of those guys as he could and kind of just filter and like, yeah, they stay for 1 year. They're called one and dones and then they just leave. But I think he might pick and choose a couple of those guys and then try to build out, get younger guys that are most likely going to have to stay another year or two unless they just blossom crazily that first year. But they also might be looking to get some more older players in the transfer portal as well, because they did do that. And the guys that they did get are pretty good. They're not great, but they could end up getting a lot of better players within the next couple of years, in my opinion. So I think that's probably the way to go. USC's been doing it, and it's been working pretty well for them so far. So I like what my teams are doing as of late. Then when it comes to a future off-season trade for the Lakers, yes, I think it was Yahoo Sports that did this, where they made a future trade where Mikal Bridges, who was recently traded from Phoenix to the Brooklyn Nets, would be traded to the Lakers for Malik Beasley, who's a new guy, Rui Hachimura, who's kind of a new guy for the Lakers as well, but also the 2029 first-round pick in the future, and then they will do like a 2030 first-round swap pick. So it's not technically losing the pick, it's just whoever has the worst record, they would get the better one. But at least the Nets will in that future pick for something. But I don't know, because it seemed like the Nets got a pretty nice haul for Bridges, but they were, giving up Kevin Durant, so I guess that's why. But maybe throwing 2 more first-round picks in the future might entice them enough. And Yahoo Sports is saying this is like a championship type of move. And yes, it is, because Bridges is a really good player. He is defensive first, but he is becoming a lot better offensive player as well. But can they do it? I don't know. It might be tough, but it could be a nice future if they end up doing that. Then both Coach Ham and Anthony Davis and even LeBron James have been recently saying some stuff as the season's getting underway tonight against the Golden State, that even Coach has been saying that yes, he kind of wants to push for the 6th seed overall to try to avoid that 7, 8, 9, and 10 spot, to where you don't have to play in the play-in, so you don't play an extra game or two right before the playoffs start and kind of get all tired, or maybe an injury happens, something like that. But yeah, it's a nice thing to push for. It is a possibility, even though they're probably down to like the 10, 11 spot. But if they go on a nice run, like I've been saying, they should be fine. And I think they believe that too. But even when it comes to Anthony Davis, he said recently that it's like a must-win game every single time out. And yeah, there's only like 20-something less, like low 20-something games left, and they are very important. But I think if you just at least push for 60 to 70%, you don't have to win every game, because they even play Golden State tonight, and yeah, Golden State might not have Curry, but you know, that's still a possibility to lose because they barely beat them right before the All-Star break too. So if you come out with a loss, then what is Anthony Davis going to say either? You know, even LeBron James says these are the most important games of his career, even though it's like, it's not, he haven't mentioned that you're retiring anytime soon, so I don't know what he's really mentioning, but I don't know. It is important to try to win as many of these games, but I don't think it's as crazy as important as they're saying it, because I think if they just keep winning the certain games that they should and knocking out the teams that are ahead of them, then they should be fine, in my mind. And when it comes to Linkin Park, yes, they recently released a new single that would have been on the Meteora record, which is technically their third record. It was after Hybrid Theory, their first, and then Reanimation, their second. But it was definitely more anticipated because Reanimation, everyone thought it was going to be their next new songs, but it was actually just a remix of a lot of the songs from Hybrid Theory, which was still cool, but I still was really looking forward to Meteora. And I guess they said this song was a little bit more too much like some of the other songs, like Numb and a couple other songs on there, so they decided not to have it out. But it's still a really good song. They even said they did not touch like the vocals of Chester Bennington either on the song, and it still sounds really freaking good as well. So kind of wish they did more of this stuff where they would release a lot of these demos or old songs and kind of redid them and made them official instead of kind of waiting for this like anniversary, because I think that's the anniversary of when that CD came out. I think it's like 20 years, something like that. But either way, it's still pretty cool. Still no talk of them as of this second going on tour, which sucks. But as long as you can release this music, which they kind of have, where they've done some demo stuff in the past couple of years since Chester passed, and yeah, that's fine. I think I'll be good with that, but hopefully they will be able to get on the road at some point. You never know, but you know, let's hope for the best. Then when it comes to Yellow Card, yes, they recently announced that they're going pretty much back on a tour. I know they kind of been doing some spot shows here and there and being on the bill with some, or the lineup with some other people, but they are kind of officially doing this summer tour for their Ocean Avenue record, which will be the anniversary. That has to be another 20-year anniversary, something like that, maybe 25. I could be wrong, but yeah, it's pretty crazy how long it's been since that record's come out, and pretty much every song on there is a really good song, especially a lot of their singles as well. But yeah, I think they're coming to LA in July, something like that, so I'll definitely be trying to get to that concert, because they are also touring with Mayday Parade, which is one of the better, I believe, one of the better pop punk rock alternative groups out there that have come out since like the late 2000s, early 2010s. They've been still very productive and had really good songs, so definitely be looking forward to seeing both of those, because I've never seen Yellow Card, and it sucked when they went on a hiatus and broke up, but now that they're back, and hopefully doing that When We Were Young festival later in the year also, so definitely looking forward to that maybe also. But yes, looking forward to seeing Yellow Card and Mayday Parade in the future for the first time. And speaking of that When We Were Young festival, yes, apparently that first day, it's kind of dumb because last year they kind of did that too, where the first day sold out, so they added a second day and a third day. I want to say there was just 3 days total last year. It could have been 4, I could be wrong, but pretty sure they're gonna have 3 days as well during that time again later in the year, because they've already added the second day lineups. Everything's the same as far as the people and the bands involved, which is obviously a lot better than last year. I was thinking about going last year because I liked a lot of the bands, but this year it's almost like only a handful that I've never heard of or don't like, but it's like every other band I've loved since, like, you know, growing up in the late 1990s, you call that, in the early 2000s. So obviously bands like Green Day, Blink-182 are going to be headlining the festival, so that's pretty cool. Newfound Glory, Sum 41, Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, All Time Low, the Yellow Card, and The Offspring. So it's just obvious. There's a bunch of bands on there too that I've never seen live as well. So to be able to get down there would be pretty awesome. Pretty sure it's in Vegas again, and last year was a success. So definitely looking forward to maybe being able to make that. I think it's like October, November, or something like that. So hopefully, all we can do is hope. But yes, it'd be definitely very exciting if I could make that show. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. If I don't.